Please let me introduce my PhD student, Emad.
Thank you so much. For this paper, there's a talk about the assessment of wood plant species composition, diversity and structure analysis for Tozi Forest Reserve in Sinnar State, Sudan.
Egy Tozi erdőrezervátumnak a diverzitását fogja vizsgálni.
So in this, all of us we know that a natural reserve forest is rich with biodiversity habitat on the globe. They host diversified flora and fauna that is provide this sort of ecosystem goods and services to local community live around this forest and sustain numerous ecological functions. Generally, in our country, that we have lack of awareness regarding to importance of biodiversity, and also inadequate institutional mechanisms that integrate biodiversity management. This have aggravated the situation of already degraded biodiversity in Sudan. So that the importance of acacia species in our country is well known, but up-to-date information about woodland diversity and the trees is limited, and also their change in the vegetation composition, diversity, and density of these tree species, also relative frequency, are not monitored over time.
Tehát röviden elmondta Emad, hogy az erdőrezervátumokban mennyire fontos a biodiverzitás, milyen problémák vannak, elsősorban intézményi mechanizmusok, illetve az akácia fajoknak a fontossága ezeken a területeken, és ezek monitorozása mennyire fontos.
In this respect, the documentation of plant species abundance and diversity and their associated habitat is very important. Such that this documentation is provide the basis information that can be taken to appropriate step in conservation and maintaining the ecosystem functioning. It is also provide information to policy makers to facilitate the resources management plan. So that's the main objective of this study is just to assess wood species and then diversity and standard structure in this Tozi forest.
És ugye fontosak az ökológiai szolgáltatás, ökológiai funkcióknak a fenntartása, megőrzése, erősegítése a döntéshozóknak. A cél ugye ennek a fa ültetvénynek, a fafajainak az összetételének, biodiverzitásának felmérése. A Tozi erdőrezervátum.
So this is the location of the study area. This is located in the south part of Sinnar State, Sudan. With the total area, it's 1,031.2 hectares. The topographic is this forest generally flat, and the soil characteristic of this area is generally are clay, alkaline, and dark color soil, which is well and stick when it's wet and cracky when it's dry. So that the total annual precipitation in this area, it is between 300 and 500 millimeters, while the minimum and maximum temperature were 23 Celsius and 44 in March and November.
Okay. Röviden, ugye hol található a terület Szudánon belül, milyen a topográfia, a talaj, ugye agyagos, alkalányos, sötét talajok, a csapadék 300-700 mm, és ugye a hőmérséklet elég nagy, 23-44 fok között ingadozik.
The study design and field measurement, there are like 360 circular sample plots were determined in the systematic sampling, that's grid using QGIS software. Each parallel the survey lines at a distance between each survey lines 500 meters, and the distance between sampling within the survey line 400 meters, And the area of this sampling, approximately that is 1,000 meters, is equal 0.1 hectare. All living tree with diameters at breeze height more than or equal 5 centimeters were identified and then counted as species. Their DBH and height in this sampling also measured using calibers and altimeter respectively.
Ugye egy szisztematikus mintavételt használt, ugye, mint láthatjuk, 500 méterre a vonalak, 400 méterre a pontok, 17,84 méteres sugár és 5 centi fölött felvették a fákat.
Átlagúval.
At that analysis, we're using Microsoft Excel, the symbol equation that to calculate the species composition, and then the relative density and relative frequency and occurrence and biodiversity index. Also, that we use this three species composition. Species composition is each wood species in the sampling identified, record, and also the number of individual of these three species also counted. Relative frequency, just using this equation, that is the species frequency divided by the total species frequency multiplied by 100. Relative density is also the density of a specific species divided by the total density for all species and then multiplied by 100. The occurrence is calculated as the number of sampling the way species are found. The biodiversity index is using Shannon index to calculate the diversity indexes. The tree stage, we classify the diameters into three classes, where that representing the young and premature and mature. Young trees that are the diameter classes ranging between 5 centimeter and 14.99 centimeters, and the premature from 15 to 24.99 centimeters, and the mature above or more than or equal to 25 centimeters. The special distribution of these tree species within the sampling or generalized this sampling for the whole area using QGIS, also and using Varanoy polygon method for generalize this data.
Nagyon röviden ugye a képletek látszanak, tehát négyféle jellemzőt számolt, hányadost, ugye relatív sűrűség, relatív frekvencia, előfordulás, illetve a Shannon Index biodiverzitás, Shannon képlet alapján itt biodiverzitás indexet.
So the result, the species richness and diversity in this forest, so that the total living of three species were found in the 306 sampling, 2,339 representing only 4 species found in this forest as Acacia sayal, Balanus egyptiaca, Acacia senegal, and Acacia mellifera. These 4 species belong to families like Mimosacea. It is including 3 species, Acacia senegal, Acacia sayal, and Acacia mellifera. And Balanitaceae, it is including 1 species, is Balanus egyptiaca. The number of species in this forest is very low when it's compared with many dry forests in Africa. For instance, the average number of tree species found in the neotropical continental forest is 28 species, and also 24 species found in the Beric Mafia, a dry forest in Madagascar, and also 110 species found in Beric forest in Tanzania. The species diversity index is very low also when it compared with other forests found in Africa as well. These figures show that the Balanus egyptiaca it have higher abundance and higher individuals in the forest when it compared with other species found in this forest. So that's followed by Acacia sayal and Acacia senegal and Acacia mellifera.
Mint az ábrán látható, ugye 2339 fát rögzítettek, viszont 4 faj fordul elő, ami jóval alacsonyabb, mint más hasonló klimatikus viszonyú területeken. Ugye a neotropikális, ahol 28 fafaj, illetve 48 fafaj Madagaszkár.
So this picture is not represented at the actual, but this picture is taken just I identify a picture for the species found in this forest, but this picture is taken from different forests in Sudan.
Ezek a fafajok, röviden.
Yeah, this one is Balanasi gyptiaca, and in the middle is Acacia sayal, and this is Acacia senegal. These two species is also produce gum arabic. It is someone that is not a gum arabic. This is produced from two species, and this is Acacia mellifera. Tree density. This figure is shown that indicate that the Balanasi gyptiaca also have higher density in the forest, but it's compared with other tree species, followed by Acacia sayal and Acacia senegal and Acacia mellifera. This map shows a special distribution of average density in the forest. We see that the low and medium density is covering a large area. I think it's more than 90% in the forest, where the small area distributed in all forests, that is higher density. So when it compares the average density with other trees, with other forests in the similar environmental, but in the different country in Africa. So now we see this is Tozi forest. The average density 100. So what it compared with this the same forest located in the same area in Sinnar, it's called it Nuwara forest. The similar with urban forests located in Nigeria, and also at the lower altitude west Himalaya forest located in India, but it much lower density when it compared with this forest, like some forests located in Tanzania and at the high altitude western Himalaya in India also, and some tropical forests located in Costa Rica.
Itt a sűrűséget látjuk, az egyes fák sűrűségét, mind grafikonon, mind térképen, és összehasonlítva más hasonló klimatikus körülmények között lévő erdőkkel elég alacsony ennek a Tozi forestnek a sűrűség.
At the structure stage of the trees, it says the structure, so that we divided the diameter of these three species in the three categories, that is young and Brie and mature. So that we see the young tree species is of higher percentage when compared with Brie, mature and mature, so that we can consider this forest as young forest. Within the young tree species that we found, the Acacia mellifera have higher percentage, and so followed by Acacia sayal and Acacia senegal. Lastly, the Acacia balanites have, because the Acacia that's Balanasi gyptiacas have higher percentage in the premature and mature also.
Ugye, amit az ábra egyértelmű, ugye ott van a 4 fafajunk, azok darabszámai, és ugye fiatal, középkorú, idős százalékos eloszlás, átmérő szerint besorolt csoportok.
So this figure just show the percentage of this 3 stages, that the young it have higher percentage when it compared with pre and mature. So that's this map just to show the distribution of this stage, so that we found the young it have maybe let us compare a large area in the forest compared with pre and mature, so that this forest can be considered as a young forest.
Itt látjuk ennek a vékonyabb, középvastag és vastagabb fáknak a térbeli eloszlását.
So that just we come to the last, that's distribution pattern of a species occurrences. So that in this we use the frequency of tree species that indicated the dominant tree species in the forest. So that here in this figure, which says Balanasi Egyptiaca have higher frequency when it's compared to other tree species. So that this is dominant tree species in the forest. This map just to show the composition of wood plant species distribution in the forest, so that we see in this map the Balanasi Egyptiaca is covered with a large area when it's compared to other tree species, followed by Acacia sayal with red color, and also followed by Acacia senegal with dark green, and a small area that's covered by Acacia mellifera.
Okay. Itt a faj dominanciának a térképét látjuk, ugye az egyes fajok az adott kis gridekben, vagy ilyen rácsokban, melyik a domináns, de jobb oldalon pedig az eloszlását, százalékos eloszlás.
Ez az még micsoda?
Melyik?
A valatines egyik, amelyik a legdominánsabb. Mi az?
Can you describe this species?
Nincs Magyarországon, így hát nincs Magyarországon.
This one. Can you describe this species?
This species, this is Balanasi Egyptiaca.
It's some kind of acacia.
Yeah, acacia, yes. It's one type of acacia. This is all acacia trees.
Mind acacia.
Yeah, it's also listed acacia trees. So let's come to conclusions. This study, it is just provide information about the current condition of forest, including the species composition, trees diversity, and trees density and stage structure, which is helped to establish and design ecosystem management for environmental conservation in this area. This study also showed that lower trees diversity, that's Shannon index 0.2 in the south part of Sinnar State, Sudan. So that this forest included only four species just. Acacia sayal, Balanasi Egyptiaca, and Acacia senegal, and Acacia mellifera. So that this is two species is economically and ecological, it have higher economic and ecological importance, because this is produce gum arabic. Sudan is mainly depend on this three species, which is typically occurred in savanna ecosystem woodland. Balanasi Egyptiaca also we found it is have higher abundance trees species in this forest, followed by Acacia sayal and Acacia senegal, while Acacia mellifera is very low density. Also, Tozi forest can be considered as young, because that's the young tree species have higher percentage, 64% of the tree species. The diameter ranges between 5 centimeters to 44.99. The state of tree species richness and relative density in the study area was low when it's compared to similar environmental in the world. I think because that has come to maybe this forest is small and it does not represent the savanna ecosystem at all. Maybe also it's come to the variation in soil characteristic, also precipitation and landscape topographic, and also the distribution of sampling and intensity and size of sampling also maybe reflect in this density. Overall, this study provides information and insight for guiding forest biodiversity restoration. So that it gives you indicator about which species is rarely and which species is high abundance to put in consideration when it's make a restoration plan. Yes.
Okay. Tehát láthatjuk, hogy a felmérés segíteni fogja a védelem, illetve az ökológiai rendszer menedzsmentet, kezelést. A viszonylag fiatal az erdő, alacsony a diverzitása, de ez csak a fafajokat vonta be. És tehát ezek az információk fontosak a biodiverzitás helyreállításán. Oké, thank you.